Most landscapers never hit seven figures. And in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly why. What's up, you guys? It's Matt Thibeau here, Savant Marketing Agency. And if you're new to the channel, all we do is talk around here how you can scale your landscaping or outdoor living business to seven figures and beyond using digital marketing strategies that work. And we've got an exciting video today. I'm going to be breaking down 5 things that you can do to start scaling up to seven figures or more in your landscaping business. So if maybe you've hit a plateau or you've been at this for a number of years and you're just struggling to get to the next level, by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what's holding you back and what steps to take to start making some serious gains in 2026. So number 1 is the importance of getting out of the field. I can't tell you how many landscapers are stuck under seven figures, not because they don't do good work or they don't have any good business savviness or anything like that. It's that they're spending all of their time in the field. And it is literally impossible for you to scale your business if you're spending all of your time out actually doing the thing. You know, there are levels to business, and what has gotten you to the point where you're at right now under seven figures is not what will get you to the point where you're hitting seven figures or more. And just because you've gotten to the point where you're good at what you do and you offer a quality service, you're going to need to take the next step, and that is getting out of the field. And essentially what you want to start working towards is working into an office and focusing more on sales and marketing. Because if you're serious about hitting seven figures or more in your landscaping business, you need to start focusing on what's called revenue-driven activities. Now, what this means is that everything that you do in your company should be focused on acquiring new customers and bringing in new revenue. And if you're tied up in the field working with your crew, that means that you're not able to follow up with your leads. You're not able to be doing estimates. You're not able to be answering the phone of new leads that are coming in. And so you are basically pulled into the operations of the business. And where that next level lies, where you can really start scaling up, is, like I said, when you step out of the operations and you can start focus on being more of a business owner rather than really working in the business, right? You want to be working on the business, but not in it all the time. And if you're constantly stuck in the field, it's going to be really difficult to scale. So what I would recommend is to find someone who can really spearhead the operations for you, who can be your right-hand man, who can really focus on making sure that the quality is there and things are getting done. And that will free you up to actually focus on driving the business itself forward. If you can't find that hire to really bring them in-house, you might also want to consider hiring out a subcontracting crew, right? This, although it's going to hurt your margins a little bit, it's still, again, it's going to free up your time so that you can actually focus on the sales and marketing aspect. That's something that many of our clients have chosen to do, is bring in a subcontracting crew, at least in the interim, so you can start to scale up the business, and then maybe you can bring someone in-house. But I would say if you want to hit seven figures or scale past that, absolutely need to get out of the operations, and you need to do it as soon as possible. So every minute that you stay in the operations is another minute you're taking away from sales and marketing, and that is definitely holding you back in your business. The second thing is going to be increasing your prices or your average order value. If you're charging too little for the work that you are doing, it is going to be extremely difficult for you to start scaling up the business. One of the easiest ways to start growing your business is to just charge more for the work that you're already doing. So if you're doing large installation projects or outdoor living projects, you can start to increase the prices of your average order value, and that is going to basically get you one step closer to hitting seven figures. So what I would recommend to do is just a little bit of an audit and get some quotes from some other companies in your area to understand what are they charging. Now, there are a lot of other marketing companies or consultants or landscaper influencers who will tell you like, hey, charge what you're worth, charge more. but you don't want to overdo this and charge extremely high prices because now you're just going to get no jobs, right? So what I would recommend is to stay in the middle to high middle tier. That is the sweet spot. And that is going to allow you to charge enough, be able to make enough profit, which you can then pour into growing the business and hiring people like we talked about. And then also it's going to get you one step closer to actually hitting the 7-figure mark. So I would just recommend do a little audit on what am I charging? How does that compare to my competitors? Because odds are you're probably not charging enough. And that is definitely going to help you when it comes to hitting 7 figures in your landscaping business. All right, number 3 is getting all your marketing systems in place. If right now you're relying mostly on just referrals and word of mouth, again, what got you to where you are now is not what's going to get you to 7 figures. And don't get me wrong, there are 7-figure landscaping businesses that only rely on word of mouth, but it's going to take a long time to get there if you're relying on just referrals. And so what I would recommend is to start building out a robust marketing system. Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, flyers, etc. You want to start building out a real marketing system that's going to consistently generate qualified leads that are sending you those leads at least on a weekly basis so you can start filling up your calendar. Because now you're out of the operations and you have more time to focus on marketing and sales. So you want to make sure that your calendar is packed with estimates so that you're constantly feeding the business new business and new revenue, right? Now, you are definitely going to not be a marketing expert, I'm assuming. So your execution of that marketing system is probably going to be limited, which is why I would definitely recommend that you hire a marketing agency like ourselves at Savant Marketing so that, you can have a resource just come in and implement for you. It's going to save you a lot of money, going to save you a lot of time and resources, and you're going to be able to just get the leads coming through. And then when you have all these leads coming through, you're going to be able to step out of the operations comfortably and make sure that your team has it all handled. And now you're just the one doing the estimates, focusing on sales, focusing on follow-up and all that, right? So it's going to make your life much easier. And I would definitely not recommend to try and scale your business without having a real marketing system in place, because the last thing you want is to try and grow when maybe the economy is doing well, when maybe, business comes to you easy. Now you got this big team, but you never built out the marketing systems to sustain it all. One economic downturn or anything that would go wrong, now you're putting yourself in a precarious place. So if you're serious about scaling, you definitely want to set yourself up with a real marketing system that's going to be generating qualified leads, like I said, that is going to be booking up your calendar, and that's going to keep you busy. Okay. Now, once you have that marketing system in place, you're also going to want to make sure that you have a real sales system in place. I can't tell you how many landscaping businesses don't have a real sales process in place and essentially rely all on the homeowner to do all of the work in the sales process. If you do marketing and you approach sales from a lazy perspective, where you're just emailing over an estimate and you just let the homeowner make the decision from there, you are leaving a lot of money on the table, and it's going to be difficult for you to make marketing actually produce an ROI. So here's what I'm going to recommend for you to do. Come up with a real sales presentation that looks like essentially you learn what the prospect is looking for, you bring them through a defined sales process, and then when you are ready to show them a real figure, then you sit down with them at the kitchen table, you present to them the numbers, and you say, these are your options. What would you like to choose? This is going to increase the amount of jobs that you're closing. And it's also going to make sure that you're getting the most out of the marketing that you're actually doing. So some quick tips that I would have for you is, number one is do a discovery call with all of your leads. Essentially what a discovery call looks like is a quick 10 to 15 minute call before you drive out for the estimate. And you just want to ask them some questions about like what their vision is, how long have they been thinking about this, what kind of they know, like what's their education level about this type of work? Have they ever hired a landscaper before to do something like this? And you kind of just want to suss out the situation and the reasons why they're doing this project. Okay. So many landscapers talk only about the scope of the project, but that is subject to change during the estimate. So what I want you to do is a simple discovery call 10 to 15 minutes, like I said, and just get an understanding of why they're doing this project and if it's something that's actually alignment with what your services are. And if so, then you want to book in the in-person estimate. And I say in-person estimate because so many landscapers will just stop by and not really do like an in-depth in-person estimate. And you want to visit in person because that is going to build you the opportunity of building trust. But then also you can actually go for the close right then and there. So what we like to teach our clients is the ability to do a same day estimate. Okay. So you're going to meet with the prospect, you're going to do all your measurements, talk about what they're looking for, and then you're going to tell them, hey, give me 20 minutes. I'm going to go into my truck, crunch some numbers, and then I'll come back and we can sit at the kitchen table together and I can go over everything, what your options are. That is one of the best strategies that you can do because you're collapsing the amount of time it's going to take for you to deliver an estimate of real price to the homeowner so they can make a decision. Most landscapers lose out on those opportunities because they take forever to actually deliver an estimate. And by that time, the person has moved forward with another landscaper who was faster, right? So the more that you can dial in your sales process, the more that you're going to get out of your marketing, and then you're going to be able to scale much faster. And a lot of landscapers will say like, well, I don't have time to do in-person estimates and all that. That goes back to staying in the field too much, right? So once you're out of the field, then you can focus on going in-person estimates and all this. And now your sales process is more effective because I would rather have you go out to the job in person, land that job, instead of sending off dozens of quotes through email and not landing anything, right? We want to focus on return on energy here and make sure your time is well spent. The last thing I'm going to say about sales is you also want to make sure you have a real CRM setup because once you do the marketing systems and you're getting all these leads from Facebook and Google and such, it's going to be a lot more for you to keep track of. And so a lot of landscapers will just keep track of all that off the top of their head or a Google sheet or something like that. But if you're serious about scaling, you're going to need a real CRM because you're going to want to follow up with people and make sure none of these leads are falling through the cracks. So all of our clients, we give them go high level. We built out a custom green industry CRM. Some of our clients like to use Jobber, but what they find is it's more of like a scheduling software. So we'll use Jobber and go high level in conjunction together. But whatever CRM you choose to use, just have a CRM because it's going to allow you to follow up with your leads better and get the most ROI out of all of your marketing efforts. The last thing here that I'm going to talk about is hiring and leadership. When you're serious about scaling up your business, it means that now you are need to elevate yourself from being a landscaper into being a business owner. And what being a business owner means is starting to delegate tasks that are no longer worth your time, right? So there's no reason why you should be driving out and picking up materials or, on the job site doing the actual work or even just some basic bookkeeping stuff. This is the type of stuff where you want to start building out a team that can execute these lower level tasks so that you can focus on the vision, the marketing, driving revenue for the company that's really going to move you forward. And so if you don't have a real hiring system for your business, I have another YouTube video on this channel that you can check out. It's called How to Hire A Players. And I walk you through a simple strategy of how you can use websites like Facebook or Indeed to start sourcing candidates. And then you bring them through a process of qualifying them to make sure that they're a good fit for your company. Okay. So you need to have a real process in place for hiring new candidates. So if somebody leaves, then you're able to replace them with another qualified candidate. And then you have the leadership abilities to make sure that you properly onboard them and train them, setting the expectations, and you seed the vision for them so that they're excited to work for your business. And this is exactly what's going to get you to 7 figures in your landscaping company. So I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, give it a subscribe. If you have any questions, comment below. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. And if you're watching this right now and you own a landscaping or outdoor living business and you're trying to scale to 7 figures, but maybe you've plateaued, or maybe you're at 7 figures, but you're trying to add another $1 million into your company, we would love to support you at Savant Marketing Agency. So if you'd like to have a detailed strategy call with myself where we isolate what are your goals, where are you at right now, and what's kind of the gap that we need to make up, then my link is in the description below. You can book a call with our team. We'd be happy to speak with you. All right, guys, I'll see you on my next video.